Yes, there are many ways to make a living, isn't there? You could have a shop, you could be a consultant, you could own a franchise, you could work for the man, or you could travel the country with your family. Now, which one would you prefer?
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I am your host, Timbo Reid. But you, so much more importantly, are a motivated small business owner ready to crank out some great marketing to grow that baby of yours into possibly the empire it deserves to be. How are you, team? Another big week in the land of business. Hope it's a good one for you. It's been a great one for me. I've had a few talks. I've been spending a bit of time in the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. I have started to prepare my next keynote that I will start delivering in 2015. Bit of planning going on. All sorts of stuff here at the Small Business Big Marketing headquarters. Big show for you today, though. That's what is important. I have got, as you would have heard up front, an ex-cubicle escapee and now a travel blogger who's living the dream, living the La Vida Loca. That's it. I have got a listener question from a very frustrated small business owner, so we want to remove that real quick. Got news on a meetup for listeners happening this month. That would be September 2014. And I have got an inspiring realisation from a forum member. Plenty to cover. Let's get stuck right in.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid.
Righto, team. Let's get stuck into a listener question right off the bat, I reckon, because this listener is very frustrated. And I don't like it when I've got a frustrated small business owner listening in, because this show is all about making marketing your business a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot simpler. This is from Emily, and Emily says, "Hi, Tim. I am getting so frustrated. I'm trying to do the right thing. Network marketing is very slow and I need pre-qualified leads for my small team. Do you think I can find someone to do copy on my webpage and a decent marketer? No. Everybody sells me the earth, takes my money, and no one is delivering." Oh, Emily, that's heartbreaking. "Everyone looks at the website and demands 5,000 Australian dollars because they want to rewrite. Can you please advise as to where to find an honest, reliable online marketing company?" I don't know whether that's what you may need, but I will tell you that in a minute in more detail, Emily. "I cannot afford to keep tipping money down the wrong drains. Who can? As you will know, when you're a small business with a small business owner with 1 million hats on with 3 children, yeah, hello, welcome to my world, there are some things you want to pay an expert to do on your behalf. It seems everyone wants the money, but no one is prepared to deliver what they are offering me. Pleased for any assistance at all. Kind regards, Emily." Emily, my first reaction is I think you're looking in the wrong places for people to help you with your marketing. I'm not sure whether an online marketing company or a marketing agency is your best solution, because that is an expensive solution. I don't know what your budget is, but I don't know. It feels like that may not be your best solution. But well done for realising you can't do it all yourself as well. That's a great acknowledgement. And you have been looking around for people to help you, but just not finding the right people. One thing you can do is look at colleagues, look at other small business marketing that you love and find out who did it, and make contact with them. That's one way. I'm not sure what all the services are that you need. I'm going to go through a few that I think you may need, but that's the first thing I'd do. Go and find marketing that you love, find out who did it, and tap them on the shoulder. And again, I'm going to reiterate the importance of having a virtual marketing team, surrounding yourself with A players, people who specialise in key aspects of your marketing, Don't get one person who says they can do it all, because generally they can't, Get specialists who do one thing really well. So that may be, you might need to put on a project manager or a virtual assistant. Okay, someone who can kind of be the ringleader for all the different marketing activities that you need to do. Now, that could be a full-time position or a part-time position. Again, I don't know your budget. And depending on the skill sets, that could be an administrative role, or it could be someone who has a little bit more insight into the marketing needs of your business. It depends how much control and input you're going to have. I would get a web team. I'd go to Net Registry. Like, I know I'm being, they sponsor the show. You may say, well, I have to say that, but hey, they're really good and they're inexpensive and they design and develop great websites on WordPress. Head over to netregistry.com.au. Get a designer on your virtual marketing team, one that you can call on to do your brochures, your logos, your stationery, your PowerPoint slides, your banners, your T-shirts, whatever it is. And yes, again, I am being biased, aren't I? 99designs.com/SBBM, because you are going to get a lovely deal there and you are going to get designs coming in from all around the world for your design, for whatever you need designing. Get a writer. Go to elance.com. No, they don't sponsor the show. You do need a writer. I think it's a great thing to do. Find a great writer who maybe has some skill in your industry or whose writing you just love, and you can see all their portfolios on elance.com. And other skill sets depending on what you need, what you want to achieve, Emily. So, start to build out your virtual marketing team like that, one at a time. Don't try and do everything at once. You get overwhelmed. And I think you will have a little bit more luck than you are currently doing. But whatever you're currently doing, stop! Oh, and by the way, team, if you do want to send me a question, you can go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, click on the contact button, and there's a little field there where you can send me any question you've got or any feedback that you have, and I might just get around to reading it on the show. But it is piling up. My bad. I will get better at answering it. Alrighty, team. As you know, 99 Designs do sponsor this show, do make this show possible, and you can get a great design over there at a price that you can afford, starting at $299. You can get logos done, business cards, mobile apps, T-shirts, banners, brochures, book covers, illustrations. It's an amazing concept. There's 800,000 designers in their community from all over the world. You run a design competition, basically. You post a brief, you nominate some prize money. Designs come in from all over the world, finished in low res. You choose the winner. You award the prize money. They send you the high res file. It's incredible. And if you go to 99designs.com/SBBM, that's for Small Business Big Marketing, you will get a free Power Pack upgrade worth $99, which is basically going to put your competition to the top of the tree and results on average in 185% more designs coming in for your brief. Got to love that. 99designs.com/SBBM. Righto, Melbourne listeners. Well, not just Melbourne listeners anywhere. You can fly in for this if you so choose. We're going to have a little meet-up, a little soiree on Thursday, September 25, somewhere in inner city Melbourne. Venue to be decided. It is in the football grand final week. So it could be busy out there, could be a lot of fun. Forum members, we are going to be catching up from 4:30, and all other listeners are absolutely welcome from 5:30 onwards. I'm going to be there, and a whole lot of other people, motivated small business owners, basically are going to be there, patting each other on the back, slapping each other and saying, how's business? What can we do to help build each other's business, and just have a bit of fun, a bit of a hit and a giggle along the way. Head over to meetup.com/small business big marketing, and you'll be first to know when those details have been established as to the venue. But it is Thursday, September 25 at 4:30 p.m. for forum members, 5:30 p.m. for all other listeners, and it's in Melbourne. Now, speaking of getting stuff done in your small business in regards to all things marketing, do remember netregistry.com.au are there to get your online marketing sorted. Like, seriously. We're talking domain names, website hosting, website design and development, pay-per-click advertising, a little bit of search engine optimization, loving. They do it all. They do it all. They just moved the hosting of my website onto an even faster server, which I'm happy about. That happened today. A little bit nerve-wracking moment when that all happens, but went very smoothly. All that techo stuff that you don't know how to do, but may be stopping you from moving forward in your business, Net Registry, nail it. Seriously. Why would you go anywhere else? Head over to netregistry.com.au for all your online marketing needs and tell them Timbo sent you. Okay, so let's get stuck in to today's guest, who is Caz Makepeace, ex-cubicle escapee, now travel blogger extraordinaire, along with her husband and two beautiful children who are travelling around Australia. My copywriter, who does all the show notes, David, he's an Englishman living in Mexico, and he's a bit of a travel blogger too. He sent me a note recently introducing Caz in suggesting I interview her. This is what he had to say. I have an idea for a future guest. I'm also a travel blogger and have my own modest site that gets around 30,000 page views a month. Modest? Come on, you're being modest, David. Through this, I managed to get a bit of income, even a sponsored trip now and again. Nice. But there are some travel bloggers who are in the big league and have amazing lives. There is a lovely Australian couple called Caz and Craig Makepeace who keep ytravelblog.com. That's with a Y, travelblog.com. A family travel blog. They have 300,000 page views a month, but what I find fascinating is their social media, which seems to really power their whole online presence. They have 4.3 million Pinterest followers. I thought it might be interesting to explore an area of business that doesn't use content to leverage sales. Content is the whole business, and a business that has such social power. Thanks, David. Well, thank you, David, for suggesting I interview them. Got in touch with Caz. They were rocking around Australia, as you would expect. In fact, they were up in the Northern Territory, in Darwin, heading into Listerfield National Park, living the La Vida Loca. Caz, you're living the dream.
I sure am. I'm living my dream anyway.
Good on you. And many people are living their dream through their eyes. Does that make sense? Living your dream through their eyes or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. They're dreaming along with us and enjoying the journey.
Now, I want to get into the nitty-gritty of making a living via blogging, but there's a bit of ground to cover before then. You were trapped on the hamster wheel, in your own words, at a point in time. How long ago, and what were you doing?
It was about 3 years ago. I've been full-time on the blog now. Well, 3 years. My daughter just turned 3 yesterday, and I went full-time when she was born. It's full-time as you can get when you have a baby. But before that, I was a primary school teacher, and my husband and I love to travel, and so we travelled around the world, and I would teach in different countries, and he has a trade in construction, so he would do that as we travelled around. But I really didn't like teaching, and I just knew that there was something else I had to do and I had to get out of it. And so I went searching for what was available, and we definitely wanted something that was portable because we didn't want to stop travelling. And the only way that we were able to travel like we did was that we could work in other countries on a working holiday visa. So we knew we had to create something of our own. And that's when we discovered online travel blogs, and we saw that they were writing stories very similar to what we'd experienced for the previous 10 years. So we just kind of jumped on in there and entered the world, and here we are now 4 years later.
Did you not like teaching? Did you not like being trapped in someone else's world, or did you miss travel so much that you just needed to get back on the plane? Which one was it?
Oh, I think it was a combination of all three, but I think really I just hated being trapped in that world where someone else was controlling what I did every day. And part of the reason I loved travel so much was because when you're traveling, you are in control of every day. I mean, you have that ultimate freedom. And so for me, having that job where I had to start work every day, the bell went at 9 and went again at 3, and then I was told when I could go to the toilet, and that just wasn't me.
and was hubby feeling the same in his job in construction?
Yeah,
was he more
for
flexible?
Sure.
Yeah, he was.
The same. He kind of fell into that. He was a professional rugby league player before that, but had to retire because of injury. So he just sort of fell into that. He wasn't passionate about it at all. So he felt trapped too.
So you've had the conversation, like I'm guessing many people have, either with themselves or with their partner, of going, oh, geez, we could just sign out here and head off somewhere and live the life of live the dream. Tell us about that exact moment, I'm sure you remember it, where you've gone, righto, we're doing it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've sort of had that moment every time. And I think when we started our blog, we never knew where it was going to go. It was like, we're just going to start
but what
this
about
and see.
what about the moment, Caz, before you even started the blog, like where you've just committed to it? You said, no, you are going to leave teaching. Your hubby is going to leave his job. You are going to pack up from your home in Sydney, I think you were living, and go and take off.
Well, no, this is we started the blog when we were living in the US.
Aha.
And and then we moved back because of financial problems. And so the blog really didn't start taking off for us for about 18 months ago. And that was when we made the decision to travel around Australia and take off now. So previous, we were working on the blog at home, doing some part-time work and that before it became the full-time. But yeah, definitely when we decided, right, that's it, we're packing up and moving around Australia. You know, I'm not sure if I can even pinpoint a single moment where it happened. We just knew I had gone through some serious health issues, and going through that process made me really realise just that, you know, what was I doing hanging around waiting for permission or waiting for the opportunity. It's time for me to just go out and take it myself. And I think that was the catalyst for the ultimate choice to pack up and leave. Yeah.
You said the blog took off 18 months ago. What was it? What happened?
Well, it took up to the stage where it was a full-time income, and we had the ability to travel Australia and have it support us. Previous, we had been doing fairly well, and we were quite popular and had a lot of readerships and things, but not at the full-time income stage. Mm-hmm. And so I think for us to get it to that stage, there was a lot of groundwork beforehand, but then we just had to get a lot clearer on our monetization models and how we were going to create income. So I guess we got more of a sort of business plan in place. Yeah,
gotcha. Do you mind, different for everyone, what did full-time income equate to for you back then? Do you mind if I ask?
No. Yes, and this is what we always teach our community is, you know, you always got to define what that income, it doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be enough to cover your expenses and your desires, what you really need. And because we were going on the road, our expenses dramatically decreased. So for us, we were looking at around $4,000 to $5,000 a month. We knew if we could pull in that income, then we could stay on the road. And the way that we travel, we can reduce our expenses and we can make it work.
And I'm guessing that's increased exponentially over since you kind of. Is that in last week's episode? I talked to a mate of mine, Andrew Griffiths, about leaning in. We were kind of defining. In fact, it wasn't with Andrew. It was actually with the psychologist I had on last week, and leaning in. So that moment 18 months ago where you've gone, okay, we're making $5,000 a month. That's going to fund us getting out on the road, not living the lifestyle of a king and queen, but we're going to cover everything and have money to spare. Once you've committed to that, would it be fair to say that all of a sudden that kind of multiplied because you were completely committed to it?
Yeah, and I truly, truly believe that. I think when you do, you know, follow that calling within you and you just take that leap, you know, the universe kind of catches you and supports you, and all these doors that you never anticipated start opening up for you.
Geez, I find that so interesting because it scares the bejesus out of me, and I know it would scare the same out of many listeners because it's like I know the universe delivers. I talk about woo-woo on this show, the woo-woo theory.
Yeah.
I sometimes apologise for it because I know there's some very rational small business owners listening as well, but it bloody well does deliver, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen it time and time again, and I'm even seeing it all the time on my travels now. You know, for example, we turned up in Melbourne. We were there for the Australian Open. It was the busiest weekend in Melbourne all year, and we had no accommodation booked. And we were looking at having to sleep in our car, and then at the very last minute, we had a call because someone had cancelled somewhere, and we managed to get a unit, and it was a really cheap deal. So just things like that, you know.
It's trust, isn't it?
It
Tell
really
me, at
is.
$5,000 a month, where was the $5,000 coming from?
Various ways. We've got a couple of ebooks that we sell, advertising on our site, and working with tourism boards, which didn't really start to take off, the tourism board thing, until we actually started travelling.
So that's okay. $5,000 that's three. I can imagine getting $5,000 from ebooks. I would have thought. Yeah, I want to talk about how that increased. I thought tourism boards would bring in more than that. They probably are now.
Oh, they are now. Yeah.
So let's just talk about. I haven't had the ebook discussion. So talk me through, how many ebooks are you selling?
2.
And tell us how simple they were to create.
Yeah, fairly simple, I guess. It's just, ebooks, anyone can create them, really. It's just a matter of getting your thoughts onto paper and then designing the ebook and then marketing it to your community and the wider people as well.
So I noticed that you get traffic to your site. I notice on the homepage of your site, there's one there, a travel life you love.
Yep.
How to create a travel life you love. It's $37. I'm imagining that's a good source of income even now. You created it in like a PowerPoint or Word, saved it as a PDF.
Yeah, Word, and then we sent it to our designer who prettied it all up and turned it into the PDF, and then it can easily be downloaded.
Yep. So there's one source of income. Advertising is an interesting one. How did you find the advertisers? Did you go and knock on doors? Yeah. How did you do that?
No, the majority of them found us, which is really great because I guess we've got a profile that's big enough and a community that's big enough for them. We hadn't had to do much door knocking at all, and we also have an agent who works on our behalf now who does a lot of that behind the scenes and does a lot of the contacting or the arranging. So we're sort of taken a little bit more out of the equation, which is nice.
So that agent is there is it they're advertising, I'm guessing, on your site?
Yeah, by not so much banner ads, mostly sponsored posts.
Aha. So like Big Four, I'm guessing, is a current brand that is sponsoring your posts, Big Four Caravan Parks.
No, actually not Big Four. No, that one, we just wrote about that one. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that agent, that's an interesting concept. So you pay them a commission?
Yes. Yeah.
And they are there finding brands, related brands, who then you can write blog posts or including blog posts. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's right. It could be, we could do it like as a blog post. It might involve a little bit of social media work as well, like on our different channels. They might have a particular campaign that they want us to help them promote. So we do that through the blog or our social media channels.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and different things, like at the moment, like in next week actually, we're going to be hosting a hangout with Expedia. So, and we've done one before with Lonely Planet. So things like that as well are the smaller type of things that we can do with brands. That's interesting. So a Google Hangout? A Google Hangout, yeah. Hangout, and Expedia being a large online travel booking service. So tell me about the format of that hangout. That one hasn't been actually finalised yet, but it's going to be a live hangout, and so they're going to bring their community in to watch, right. and I think it's family travel that we're going to be chatting with them about. So Expedia will have Expedia will have a spokesperson or an interviewer, and effectively you're going to be interviewed on that show about family travel. Yeah, that's right. And they're going to put out the questions to their community as well that they want to ask us. What's the craziest thing that's happened, Caz? You're sitting there, you're talking to me at Litchfield National Park in the Northern Territory. That's pretty crazy. You've got your own little Wi-Fi satellite setup or whatever it is, brilliant line. What's the craziest or funniest thing that's happened to you since you've embarked on this blogging life? Oh, wow. Oh, we've had so many amazing adventures. I think one was before we set on this adventure, but we were asked by Whitsunday Tourism to come up there and do some work. And we went to Hayman Island, and we flew in to Hayman Island by helicopter. And we arrived at this luxury resort, and I just felt like I was a rock star. Classic. It was insane. Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy that this can happen just from blogging. It was just really insane.
Well, my view too is, and I want to talk to you about numbers in a minute to give people an idea of your scoreboard, as I call it. But my view is that people, we're going to see more and more of this. Brands, big brands like your Hamilton Island or big tourism brands, any brand are going to look to people like you and I, who have relatively small audiences compared to metro media. Okay, but we have very engaged audiences. And yes. I just think we're going to get tapped on the shoulder more and more over the coming months and years to say, hey, listen, can we somehow integrate with your brand because you have a very loyal audience and people listen to what you have to say?
That's right. That's right.
Have you seen that kind of momentum develop in the last 18 months since you've really leaned into it?
Oh, absolutely. It is definitely moving that way because brands are seeing the value of the communities that we do have. As you said, they're very engaged and they're very loyal and they're very relevant. So anyone who wants to talk, just say family travel in particular, a brand that's focused on that market, well, they know that we're living that experience and we have very engaged followers who are wanting to learn more about that experience and come to us as a trusted source of advice.
Yeah. Now, I just want to hit a limiting belief on the head here, Caz. Sure. People are listening and they're going, good on them. It's too late. It's too late. The boat's left the shore. The ship's left the shore. Travel blogging's been around a while. And it doesn't have to be travel blogging, but making a living by doing something online. Let's kind of just call that the industry that we're talking about. And I don't want people to be listening to this going, good on Caz, she's nailed it, but she started 18 months ago. In fact, she was doing it before that. Good on Timbo, he started podcasting 5 years ago and now he's making a living out of it. I strongly believe that the boat hasn't left the shore. Yeah, people like you and I got in a little bit earlier, but I reckon there's massive room for growth. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It's the online world and it's growing so much, but there's still so many people who haven't really jumped into the online world yet. And I think, and I've heard someone, a mentor of mine say this before, that you think about all the music that we listen to. Well, imagine if all the musicians suddenly said, it's too late for me, all the music's been done, and stop writing music. I mean, it just doesn't happen. There's always room for more. You've just got to craft what you do to your particular passions and your skill level and your interests and what you love. And it's amazing what people are creating online, and it's such a powerful tool for you to create anything that you want.
I so agree with that. Gosh, I feel really strongly about it because I don't know. I come across so many small business owners or people trapped in cubicles who just think, it's too late to try something new, particularly in the online world. But I just think it is such early days. And I love that. Yeah. That music analogy is fantastic.
Yeah, it's so great. I mean, that's just the way you've got to be thinking is there's always room. You can always, it's never too late.
So describe a day in the life, and not so much travel. You're travelling around Australia with your hubby and two kids. I get that. You're landing in all these amazing places. But tell us the day in the business life of the Why Travel bloggers.
Yeah, it's very flexible, obviously, quite crazy. It is kind of day by day, but really we're very fortunate that a lot of our social media that we do is done as we're traveling. So we're showcasing our live story. So that's really quite easy for us to manage because we're going to Litchfield National Park later today. We'll take our photos and then we just share them on our social media community. So it's very integrated with our travels. But in the morning, we usually try and get up early before the kids, and we'll do our writing. We'll get our posts ready to be published. And then of an evening, we work after the kids have gone to bed, and that's when we do our writing, our creation, our proposals and things that we have to put together for brands. And we do have a lot of tasks that we outsource now to other people because we have to. We just can't manage being full-time with our kids and full-time travel and a full-time business. So we really now just focus on our creation, our content creation, our creation of products that we're creating and putting together our proposals and things.
Cool. So so blogging, you are blogging you pretty much blog daily, yeah? That's fair to say?
Yeah, we do. We'd love to reduce that, but at the moment we've just got an insane amount of content that we have to get out.
That's not going to change.
No,
and you know, it really is the key pillar of your communications. I mean, it's your business. I mean, you really, blogging is your business.
That's right.
That underpins anything else you do. So, is there a particular, I talk about editorial missions in my forum, working with members of my forum. I think it's good to get clear on your editorial mission, because that way they are very clear on what you blog about or podcast about or video about or don't video about or podcast. What do you know? Editorial mission, it's a three-pronged question. It's what have you got to offer to who, and what outcome can they expect? It's an old publisher's term. Do you have something like that allows you to filter what you create content about?
Yeah, definitely. And we've really gotten very good at that now that we've been on the road. And we look at obviously our traffic, where the traffic's coming from, and what our community best responds to. So we know we get a lot of Google traffic search, and we get them coming through posts like things to do in. So that we know that when we go to an area, we'll always do a post like things to do in Darwin, things to do in Cairns, because we know they're highly searched terms, and it works, and it brings people over. So we
just on that, that's so important. So knowing what people are keying into the search box of Google and writing posts with a headline. You don't need a clever headline.
No,
a headline that mirrors what they're searching. So I'm going to guess. I'm not even going to look at your blog while I guess this. It's like you have a post, 10 things to do in Darwin, or X things to do on the North Coast, or what it is. We don't even have a North Coast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. So for each region, we do that. So we know. So we're catering to that market of people that are coming over. Giving them exactly what they need. But we also know our regular loyal followers, the type of post that they really love, and they love anything that's inspirational, anything that's going to help them believe in their own dreams and to plan for their travels. So we create posts. We try to put one a week out like that. We also know they love travel tips, and it might be family travel tips or in some particular style, which they can do really well through Google as well, and anything to do with money, tips on saving money and that, because it's a big part of travel. And so we write a lot of posts about that, and then they usually always do very well on Pinterest, which brings over a lot of traffic to our blog as well. Yeah, it sure
does. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. Massive amount of traffic. Interesting. You've got kind of three pillars, and it's not dissimilar to my business, where you've kind of got the hardcore rational stuff, which is like 10 things to do in a particular place. Yeah. You've then got travel tips, 7 ways to save money while camping or stuff like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then you've got the inspirational stuff, 5 ways to escape the cubicle. Yeah. Do every single one of those posts live in the same blog, or do you somehow segment them?
No, they live in the same blog. In 2 weeks' time, we're having a new site that's going to be launched, and this new site is an amazing way of making sure that readers, people coming to the blog, can easily find what they need. So there's going to be different sections on the blog that's going to...
what's the game changer there, that you are actually segmenting the post, the website a bit more? You're going to drill down a bit more?
Yeah, drill down a bit more. We're going to have a particular hub page just on Australia, which is going to have the map there, and then a clickable map. So, if someone comes to the map and they want to find things on Melbourne, they'll just go and click on the map in Melbourne, and then all our posts related to Melbourne will appear.
Nice.
So it's a different section. We're going to have a money section and then a digital lifestyle section, because we do have a lot of people following our blog who are interested in, running a digital business while travelling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, gosh, it's good. Boy, oh boy, I'm visualising a magazine. I know you're online, but, like a magazine's such a great way of visualising this. You're flicking through and you're going, there's the travel section, there's the inspiration section, there's a particular destination section, and it's like now it all starts to become this amazing lifestyle thing well beyond, what do you do in Darwin type discussion.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
What's your key learning just from blogging, specifically, Caz, about blogging? We can read... you can do your heading. If you go and study stuff like, pro blogger stuff, and there's lots of really good bloggers out there, and they've got the, got to get the headline right. You've got to have subheads. You've got to have bullet points. You've got to have more than 300 words. You've got to do this and this. It's like, boy, oh boy, if you listen to all that, you could very well not start to blog. What's your, having blogged now for a long time, what are those 2 or 3 things that you just got to do and let everything else fall into place?
I think you've really got to be very clear on why you're doing this, because if you don't have that clarity, you'll just quit. And there's too many hurdles that are going to get thrown at you, and it's far too easy to quit. So I don't think anyone who's not very clear on their purpose and why they're doing it, they're not going to make it. So it doesn't really matter what they read. And I think you've really got to love it. Again, that ties into the purpose. I mean, if you don't love it, you're just going to quit because it's really hard work. And I think you really have to be very clear on what you have that you're offering. And you've got to understand what your message is. And you put that message through everything that you write, and you've got to bring your personality and your story, because as you were saying, I mean, the internet is full of content and full of information, and people can get what they want anywhere. So what's going to make them want to hang out with you? And that's what you've got to write to. That's what you've got to connect to. When you share that story and people relate to you, they're going to hang out with you. And then it doesn't matter, obviously, that what you write in the headlines and all that is important, but that's kind of like secondary importance because you've already got them there. Yeah.
And I'm not seeing enough of that discussion. I'm seeing a lot of discussion. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but, get the headline right, get this right, do this. And they are important. I mean, a headline will, you put a good headline in a subject of an email and that'll get people to open your email and click off to your blog post. I get that. But there isn't enough discussion around personality, around your own story, but people buy from people. No shortage of travel bloggers, Caz. No shortage of marketing podcasters. It's like what sets us apart, and it's that story, being clear on your message, honouring it, not trying to be anything that you're not trying to be someone else. And I just think that will, it might polarise some, but that's okay because they were never meant to be with you anyway. But
well, that's right. And you just I get excited when someone like that leaves. I'm like, great, that's more room for the people who want to hang out with me.
That's it, exactly right. Yep, exactly right. Make room for those that are serious.
Yeah, that's right.
That. Yeah. So, so let's talk. I have this view. You've got to market your marketing. Your marketing is your blog, which underpins everything that you do. You've got to get it out there via, and I think your major way of doing it, you'd have some good SEO juice, good Google juice. You'd get found on some key searches, and that's a function of being of consistently creating great content and then letting Google do the rest.
Yep.
The other part is you're smashing it out through social media. Your Pinterest, and pull me up if I'm wrong here on any counts, but it looks to me like Pinterest is by far and away your major source of traffic. You've got 4.2 million followers.
Yes, so it's quite insane.
Yeah.
So that does.
How did you do that? And how long did it take?
I would write an ebook if I knew.
Oh, really?
And sell it. Yeah, I honestly don't know. We were using Pinterest.
Make it up.
Make it up. We were using Pinterest when it came out because everyone was saying use Pinterest, but we were only doing, the dabbling sort of thing, and I had sort of left it for a while, and we had created this board called the Travel Bucket List, and obviously everyone has a travel bucket list. And I hadn't looked at the account for about 10 days, and I went back and had a look, and suddenly we had 30,000 followers. And I said to my husband, what have you been doing on Pinterest? And he's like, I haven't touched it in days. And so originally I thought, oh, it must be just spam. I'm just not going to worry about it. And then it just started taking off and it just rose so quickly. And then it obviously got to the point where it is now. I think what happened was when people sign up to Pinterest, they recommend particular boards. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that our board was recommended to people as they were signing up.
Yeah, right.
But our thinking was, and I was still thinking, oh, it must be bots, it must be spam. But our thinking was, well, if we can just get 1% of that traffic, over to our blog, then it's worth a lot. You know, that's a lot to 1% of 4 million. And so we really got to work on Pinterest, and started bringing that traffic over to our blog.
So now I'm looking at your Pinterest. You've got your bucket, and listeners, I'll put a link in the show notes. I've interviewed a fellow many months ago, Jason Miles, who's written the kind of ultimate book on Pinterest. So I won't go over old ground as to what Pinterest is and how to use it. But Caz, your Pinterest is, you've got lots of different boards. You've got bucket list, travel tips, travel planning, family travel, Melbourne. So you break it up into all the different regions, beaches in Australia. I mean, it's a significant amount of information about packing, photography tips, digital lifestyle, etc., etc. What's reassuring too for listeners again is that this is not all Caz's content, guys. Like, you're finding great articles about packing tips, and you link to that on your Pinterest board around packing.
Yes.
Some of the content is yours, obviously your blog posts, etc. But you don't have to create everything from scratch.
No. And I think it's very useful for your community if you're sharing other things, because then they see you as an expert and an authority, and they know that if they need something, they can go to you because you're always sharing great content in that field.
Yeah.
It just helps build that trust, I think.
Now, Caz, I've got to pull you up on a couple of things.
Oh, dear.
You've been a very naughty girl. Why did you stop podcasting?
Oh, no, I know. Actually, it's funny. I was just thinking about it, I think either this morning or last night, and the wheels started turning into my head, and I'm starting to come up with a plan to get back into it. But
bloody hell.
I know.
You sure do.
Yeah, it was purely a time thing for us.
Give me a break.
Stop the excuses.
That is one of the great, what time thing. I mean, you're in the car. I mean, honestly, the best podcast that you could do is, first of all, sticking to your editorial mission, which is what you already got. You say the content, no problem. The type of podcast, it's you. It's the family in the car. I want to hear. You're going to have to somehow. Here's my advice would be get a good recorder like a Zoom H2 or a Zoom H4. Record you guys in the car. We'd hear the road noise in the background. You'd have to play around with it. Technically, you just need to get it right. But kids in the back. What's the hubby's name? Craig.
Craig. Yeah.
Craig driving. You drive. I don't know, but like that's the podcast.
I like that.
The ambient noise of travel in the background. It could be down on a beach. You could hear the waves crashing. In a cafe. Oh, God, my God. I mean, my head just explodes when I think about a podcast for you guys. Interviewing amazing people you meet along you must meet some amazing people. You've just got to quickly pull them aside and maybe have like 3 to 5 questions that you just have when you meet a crazy or amazing person. You don't even have to make it up then. It's just, it's ready to go.
Yeah, I like that. Great ideas.
Well, thank you. Invoice. Where do I send it? Have you got a fixed address that I can invoice? Or
unfortunately, I don't.
But and the other thing is, I mean, a lot of your listeners, they might be travelling. A lot would maybe be thinking of travelling, but podcasting's great because people listen to it in bed, walking the dog, at the gym, commuting to work. Yes. Oh boy, my head explodes when I think about the potential of podcasting for you.
Oh yeah.
The other wrap, and please send me a link when you start to reinstigate it again.
Sure.
The other wrap on the knuckles, like very visual kind of life you guys lead, but no video.
No. Again, I don't feel like I have the skills for video, and then editing for me is not something I'm good at, and it just does my head in. And so I'm like, I feel like my time can be better spent elsewhere.
Love it. Well, and certainly a great answer, because I wasn't suggesting, although I'd love to see some video of you guys travelling, but one of the great things, listeners, is that you don't have to tick every box. Like for Caz and Craig, blogging is working. For me, podcasting is working. It's like nail one thing really well for the long term. That's my view. Others spread themselves thinly, but I absolutely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can we just touch on a couple of other marketing aspects before wrapping up, Caz? And by the way, listeners, I'm talking to Caz Makepeace. She is one of the co-founders and contributors to Why Travel Blog, and that's the letter Y, travelblog.com. Go and check it out. Now, Caz, you get some good press coverage. You've been, let me just have a quick look, Huffington Post, Clio, ABC, some newspapers. How have you gone about getting that publicity for yourself?
One of the really great resources I use is Source Bottle. That's SOURCE, Source Bottle.
Yeah, well, Rebecca Derrington, she owns it, and she's been on this show.
Oh,
and
great.
It's a great source of press opportunities.
Oh, it's so great. And I think the Clio came from that. I've just finished an interview for Essential Kids, a couple of articles there. The Sunday Telegraph, we were featured on page 6, I think, of the Sunday Telegraph, and that came from Source Bottle. So that's a really fantastic resource, and it's so easy to use and for anyone to get picked up that way. Also, Huffington Post, I had wanted to write for them for some time, and then they contacted me in regards to publishing something. They came across one of our articles, I think on Twitter or somewhere on social media, and then contacted me about writing something similar for them. ABC
Brilliant.
Radio found they were doing a search, something to do with Sydney online, and found a blog post that I had written, and so called me up and asked me to come in on the show, and that resulted in, I think I then went on about 3 or 4 episodes after that to talk travel. So there are various ways that
Brilliant.
you can be found. Yeah.
Now I know you're flat out, so I don't want to add any more ideas to your list, because you must. You've got.
I love ideas.
You've got beaches to lie on, and But another thing, if I were you, as you enter a new town, I'd be telegraphing ahead of time to the local radio stations and newspapers, saying, "Hey, we're about here we are." That to me seems another no-brainer.
Yeah, it is, and we do have that on our list for our VA to take care of.
Yeah, you're flat out.
Yeah, it's definitely in our plans. We know, and we're actually, after this road trip in Australia, we're planning to do the same in the US. So we're starting to plan for that now, and that's very high on our list to make sure that we do a much better job of that.
Love the Aussies.
Yeah, I know. Right. It's gonna be lots of fun.
Tell me one last thing, which I love that you do, and a previous guest, Eugene Tan from Aquabumps in Bondi.
Oh, yeah. Love
Eugene
Aquabumps.
does, yeah, I love it. Brilliant. Again, I'll put a link into the show notes for this episode, listeners. But Eugene has some very strong partnerships with tourist bodies, and you also seem to draw an income from tourist bodies or brands, is that right?
Yes.
What do you do and how do you do it?
Well, we work with the tourism boards to help market the destination. So we just have various packages that we work with them, so that when we come to a destination, we'll share it with our community, and we'll write posts about it and link to the tourist boards and things like that. So it's quite simple and basic. So we're just coming in like a publication, I guess, to share the destination with people, offer our tips and things on the region.
Probably there's probably some massive upside to that one, in terms of, because there's money there. I mean, there's big budgets to be spent. They want people to profile their areas.
Yes.
And I don't know what else you could do, but I know Eugene now gets asked. Eugene, listeners, if you don't know who I'm talking about, he has a business called Aquabumps. It's a photographic gallery in Bondi Beach. He takes a photo down at Bondi every morning between like 5 and 7, uploads it to his website, and he's got tourists, and they're amazing photos. He's got tourist bureaus from around the world saying, Eugene, come and take a photo of our beach, and pretty amazing stuff. So, again, so much upside for you guys. It feels like really early days.
Yeah, it really does. And I think any business owner is going to struggle with this. There's days where you think, oh, what am I doing? I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I'm not sure if it's going anywhere. But I hold on to that, where I really feel there's no rush. I'm in this place right now, and the doors are only starting to open, and there's no point stressing about the future, because no one's ever going to know what's coming. You've just got to concentrate on doing what you can here in the now, and just as going back to that trust thing again, just trusting that things will work out.
I've got nothing more to add to that, Caz. What a brilliant way to wrap up. I wish you guys the safest of travels. Good on you for doing what you're doing, for having the courage to take that decision. Good on you for learning along the way and knowing that, you don't know everything, and testing stuff, trying stuff, sticking to one thing like blogging and doing it well, knowing that podcasting is the next thing on the agenda.
Yes, for sure. Stories from the road.
Absolutely. I can see it now. And good on you both, and happy travels.
Thanks so much, Tim. It's been great chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
Whoa, what about that? Does that make you want to just pack up shop and jump in a nice little 4-wheel drive of some sort and head around whatever country you're in? What an amazing life, and what an amazing lady, and sharing some marketing gold. I hope you got plenty out of that. You're not too depressed, and can kind of see that what you are doing is building an empire yourself in your own little business without needing to travel around Australia or wherever you're from. Top 3 learnings from that, thanks to Net Registry and thanks to 99 Designs. Number 1, do one thing really, really well. Caz is nailing blogging. She's tried other things, but she keeps coming back to blogging, and I've done the same. Podcasting is my thing, and it is working, delivering back to me in spades. Don't feel like you need to do it all. I want to share with you a wonderful discussion inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum right now. This was posted just this week by Nick May of Walls by Design. Thanks for this, Nick. He says, I realised something this week. This is not a question as much as a marketing share, but I figure it will spark discussion and did not know where else to put it. One thing I'm realising is that your marketing channel should be a fit to you. If you like to be on camera and it is easy to do, then do that. If you like to write and are good at it, then do that. If you like to talk, then maybe podcast. My point being, whatever you do, find at least one medium that fits you. In fact, find one medium. You can do those other things once in a while, but know that those other things won't get you where you want to go. It will be the one thing that you love and is a fit. You will enjoy it and you will make the time, and your passion will be evident. It's a bit of a longer post than that, but I just pulled out the key bits. I just think that is so true. We talk about so many marketing ideas on this show, and if you could just identify one that really resonates with you, that works for you in you being able to create wonderful, passionate content, then do that, team, and lean into it. Number 2, learning from a chat with Caz. Well, ebooks. What about ebooks? Go and create one. There's actually a tutorial in the classroom section of the Small Business Big Marketing Forum that shows you one way of creating one. Ebooks have been around a long time. They're not dead, team, okay? And they're a great thing to exchange for email addresses on your site, or simply give to clients and prospects to impress them, because then you are an author. Number 3, choose a medium that suits what you do. Now, that kind of goes back to point number 1, but point number 1 is more about choose one medium. This is about choosing a medium that suits what you do. Caz loves writing, so she writes. she should podcast. We had that discussion during it. It's just a no-brainer, and it would be such an interesting podcast to listen to when they're on the road. Kids screaming in the background, road noise, bit of waves crashing if they're on the beach, whatever it is. So have a think about what medium really plays to your strength and suits the business that you're in. I know it's a top 3, but I'm going to give you one more. Personality. Number 4, just live and breathe who you are. Yeah, and inject that into all your marketing messages, because that is going to be your point of difference. I would love to know what you got from that interview with Caz. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, episode 203. Leave a comment in the show notes. Let's get the discussion going. That's my top 4, thanks to Net Registry and 99 Designs. Righto, team of motivated small business owners. Time to get back to work. But before we do that, how's this for a list of upcoming guests? I have a highly successful international network marketer. So we'll have that discussion. We haven't had that for about 3 years. I have got a past premier from the state of Victoria coming on my show in October, the Honourable Jeff Kennett. If you're not a Victorian, you probably don't know who I'm talking about, but this is a guy who gets lots done and puts aside the doomsdayers, the people who say you can't do it, and the haters. He polarised a lot of people. I had the opportunity to share the stage with him this week at an event that I gave a keynote at, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I've got the founder of an online bookkeeping software that's taking on the big boys. So that's coming up. I'd love to see you inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Click on the forum button. It's $1 for the first 7 days. You can see what it's like. I'm in there daily answering people's questions and contributing to the conversation. If you love this show, go and tell another small business owner that could do with a bit of marketing love, because that would be a wonderful thing, just a nice thing that you could do right now, today, because we're at the end of it. That's it. Have a great week. May your marketing be the best marketing. See you next week.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.